Welcome to the last practice of 2024. We'll start the practice in a seated position. Comfortably cross your legs. If that works for you, you can elevate the hips if that might give you a little bit of a more space for your ankles and knees. Let your arms rest on the knees and gently close your eyes. Take a couple of exhales to help you to calm down, help you to arrive to the practice. And as you're focusing on exhalation, cultivate the sense of grounding, cultivate the sense of presence here and now, presence in the space that you practicing. Allowing a bit of a gravity to arrive to the legs, to the seat bones, and through them visualize rooting sensations. Even you can visualize the actual roots bringing you to the earth. And keep your inhales light, and with inhale try to get a bit of a length through the spine, allowing the crown of the head reach up toward the ceiling. Find the comfortable pace that we will use for the flow. Thinking of the inhalation that allowing you to get some length, some space, and exhale to feel yourself stable, feel yourself strong. Maybe using the exhale to emphasize a deepening into the posture. You're welcome to keep your eyes gently closed if you like, or have them half open. Let's bring the hands against the knees. Bring the chin to the chest and round your spine, feeling some stretch along the spine. So flexing the spine here. And then an inhale, press the hands and send your chest forward. You can set the hands behind the hips and gently lift your gaze up, feeling some stretch in the front of the neck, squeezing the shoulder blades. And again, bring the hands against the knees, round your spine, so lean back as far as you feel comfortable. And again, bring the hands maybe behind the hips on the floor and reach up. Thinking of opening the chest, like pressing the chest bone forward and up. And one more time, go back, rounding the spine, bringing the belly in, like pressing the spine backward. And then again, bring the hands behind the hips and lift the chin up. And then try to get your straight spine position, and we'll walk with the right hand away, opening the left hand, drop the head, feel the stretch on the lateral side of the body from the neck through the rib cage. And if you feel comfortable, you can lift your left arm up. And then let the arm to go over the head if that's working for your shoulder. If it's too much, you just keep the arm open, feeling a bit more of a stretch in the chest. So don't stress yourself here. Allow your shoulder just warmed up with this overhead position. Keep your left hip grounded on every exhale. It'll give a little bit of a weight there, and release your left arm and sit for a moment here, feeling the difference from the left and the right side. And then let's go to the other side. Take the arm overhead. And again, play with the arm position. Ground on exhale your right hip. You might feel more tightness on the right side of the body. Try to look slightly up toward the ceiling, because if you're gonna look down, you probably will be folding forward. I want you to be really like in between the two pieces of glass, being only in a lateral flexion, and release the right arm again. Using maybe your both arms, just elongate the spine. And we're going to very gentle twist, bring the left hand against the right knee, keeping the right arm behind. So this is just a warm-up twist. This might be not as deep as the twist that we're practicing later in the sequence. So, but still, think of inhale as a length and exhale as a gentle twist. And let's return back to the center. Again, start with a straight spine position and then go opposite, right hand against the knee, left arm behind, gently twist. Another exhale. And let's return back to the center. Let's release the leg. First, just shake them here. I go with the ankle circles a couple of times. Then just bend the knees and just drop the knees from side to side. Don't worry too much about being exactly 90-90, just to warm up the hips here. Go maybe 5 times from side to side. Keeping the feet flexed, and just warming up hips for all the leg position that we will practice in a moment. And finishing the last one in both directions. Let's cross the ankles and come into the child pose. So taking knees wide, pressing the hips back, reaching forward. Try to keep your arms straight. Bring the forehead down to the floor. Walk the fingers forward. Feel some space between the shoulder blades. You might feel like you're forcing yourself and a bit off the back bend with this position. Think of separating your shoulder blades. Then on inhale, look forward and slide your forearms forward, coming into the prone position here. Forearms at 90-degree. Let's just engage the legs a little bit. So just remind the body that in every back bend we need to have our glutes helping to support the lower back, strong legs. And then let us just lift the elbows off the floor and a little bit more of a back bend, and coming down, exhale. And again, lift the elbows and inhale. If you cannot bring your elbows completely straight, that's okay. So just to warm up the spine into extension, we probably through the sleep we're more in a flex position. So a bit of the warm up in this direction, and exhale down. So you can take a look for this one. We'll take the arms in T position. You might use the block as the pillow, and we're gonna take the right leg across, coming into the twist, and then we'll return back, and then we'll turn the gaze to the other side and go the same to the left. Okay, so go 5 times on your own pace. So using a bit of the front arm to give you some support, and go with the leg behind as far as it feels right for you. Feel a bit of a stretch on the quad and warm up the spine even more. So there's No right or wrong position here for the twist. You also feel some stretch in the front of the chest, so that's a nice stretch for the shoulder and chest here. Nice stretch for the quad. So we going for the probably last one right now for the both direction. That's roughly the 5th rep here. And then return back to the center, and with the help of the hands, lift yourself into the tabletop position. Set yourself in the tabletop position with the hands under the shoulders, knees hip distance, and get your neutral position. So we warmed up the spine and torso pretty good, so you have a more awareness of the muscles here, and let us just turn on the core muscles. So tuck your toes and lift your knees off the floor here, holding 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees down to the floor if you need. Just stretch your wrist a little bit, and then return back into the tabletop position. Press the floor and lift the knees off the floor. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Let us step the right foot forward into lunge. Anytime when we're in the lunge and you feel like you need more support, use the blocks here. Set your lunge with a 90-degree shin. So feeling here really nice support of your front leg, and slide your back knee as far as you can to get the stretch of your quad here, your hip flexor, and then let's maybe have just the tip of the fingers, a bit of a lift of the chest, lift of the gaze here, hold. So if we're using block, and I really recommend here to use the block, let's turn the block to the high end and lift your left knee off the floor. Maybe step a little bit closer to feel more support from the back leg. So we're coming into the high lunge here. And start finding the back leg supporting you, and then maybe let the blocks go. Maybe interlace the hands on the thigh to lift the torso a little bit high, and then eventually lift your torso up into the warrior 1 position. And when you're ready, take your arms up, holding the warrior 1, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands on the block again. Drop the left knee down to the floor. Change. Stepping the left foot forward. So take your time to find first a bit of a stretch in the right quad and the hip flexor. Get your front knee in a correct position. And then just lift the chest up a little bit. Feel this deep plunge. And then using the block, tuck the toes, lift the right knee off the floor. Step a little bit closer and start finding the back leg, distributing the weight back to the right. Then maybe bring the hands to the thigh, lift the torso up, and then eventually lift the torso all the way up without changing the 90-degree knee. And when you're ready, take your arms up into the warrior 1, holding 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's bring the hands down to the floor. Drop the right knee. Bring the knees together. Release the blocks on the sides of the mat. Set your hands shoulder width apart. Tuck your toes and come into the downward dog. Bring the head between the arms and work on the long torso, long arms. So don't worry about your straight knees, but you would like to press the heels down toward the floor. A long, 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 long spine, taking the breath, and then look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Set your feet hip distance. Just hand here for the breath. And then very slowly roll up into standing position. Exhale. So we are in the mountain pose, the front of the mat. Trying to elongate as much as possible, keeping the chin at a neutral position parallel to the floor. Slightly open shoulders forward with the palms turning, and keep your glutes engaged here for support. Let's go through the full sun salutation. With inhale, lift the arms up, reaching up through the sides of the body from heels to the tip of the fingers. Bringing palms together, hinging from the hips and coming into passive fold. Drop the head, don't tense your neck, and try to be equally on your feet. So not on the heels, but maybe it feels like you're folding forward more. Sending the seat bones up, so trying a little bit of this, getting your knees straight and sending the seat bones up toward the ceiling. Then we'll step the left foot back, and right away we come into the high lunge here, using the back leg for support. Front knee is 90 degrees. Lift your torso up, and when you're ready, take your arms up into the warrior one, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands on the floor and slide your right foot back into the plank. Push the floor, tuck the tailbone under, pull the belly in, then drop the knees and come down. Exhale. Check that your hands are ending up on the sides of the rib cage. It feels like you're rolling the shoulders back, squeezing the shoulder blades, forearms at 90 degrees. Strong legs, lift the chest up. You feel like your hands are very light on the floor. Then tuck your toes, chin to the chest. Press yourself, pull the belly in, and come into the downward dog. Exhale, long spine. Taking another exhale, and then stepping the right foot closer to the midline for better support, and stepping the left foot forward. If it's taking you a couple of steps, that's fine. 90-degree knee, lift the torso up all the way. Think of grounding yourself equally through the distributing the weight to the both feet, taking the arms up, holding 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands on the floor, and again slide your left foot back into plank. Push the floor, then drop the knees and come down. Exhale. Hands are resetting on the sides of the rib cage. Come into a light cobra. Don't lift the chin too high. Don't compress the neck. And then press yourself up into the downward dog. Exhale. Again, use the strength of your arms to press the tailbone up and back. So think of the spine first of all, and only then you're thinking of the stretch in the legs. Then look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Exhale here, and then very slowly, vertebra by vertebra, come up into standing position. Exhale. Let's now find the hip flexors and come into the chair pose. So get your knees parallel, keep your arms in front, shoulders relaxed. Think of the seat bones touching the back of the chair. And then from here, lifting the hips, your knees could be in a soft position. Bring your hands just below the knees. Keep your neck neutral, coming into the hip hinge. Shoulders back, so don't be rounded in your lower back and don't be rounded in the upper back. Neutral position. Then touch the floor and step your left foot back and immediately drop the left heel down to the floor. Walk your hands to the left side of the mat and lift the torso up. So coming into the warrior 2 legs. Take a moment here to align the shoulders above the hips Maintaining the front knee looking straight forward. Don't worry about the back hip. Whatever feels right for you. And then extend the arms equally to the both direction. Then bring your gaze to the front middle finger. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Making a huge circle with the left arm, lifting the back heel, sliding the right foot back if it's available into the plank, holding the plank for breath, then dropping the knees and coming down. Exhale, having the hands on the sides of the rib cage, shoulders back, lift the chest up. Inhale, then press the floor, tug the toes. Exhale, come into the downward dog. Long spine, maybe even shaking the head here. Stepping the right foot closer to the midline, stepping the left foot forward and dropping the right heel down to the floor. Walking the hands to the edge of the mat, lifting the torso, first grounding yourself and then taking the arms to the both direction. Gaze goes to the front middle finger. Make sure that you're not collapsing to the front, keeping the knee 90 degree, supporting the front knee with the inner thigh, strength back, legs strong, holding shoulders soft. Making a huge circle with the right arm, and again, sliding the left foot back into plank, having the plank for breath, then dropping the knees, then coming down. Exhale. Having the hands on the sides of the rib cage, shoulders back, pointed toes, lift the chest up. Neutral neck. Tucking the toes, press yourself into the downward dog. Exhale. Long spine. Taking the breath, looking forward, walking to the front of the mat. And then I'll just slide in the hands toward the knees and lift the torso into half fold. So your hip hinge, neutral neck. And then transferring that into the chair pose by dropping the hips down, maintaining straight spine, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift yourself up, inhale, and let's exhale. Bring the arms on both sides of the hips. Taking the breath here, and let us take the arms wide. We'll just practice a little bit of a standing twist. So lock your hips here, and then move your arms parallel to the right wall. Try not to take your left hip with you, and keeping alignment between palm to palm. Nose gaze are on the center of the chest, and then return back to the center, go into the other side. So hips are locked, rotation happening in the upper back. Align your palms, so don't move your right arm forward. Keep alignment like you're pressing the hands into the wall. Return back to the center one more time. Keep your hips facing front. Use the edge of the mat for reference and twist here. So only their upper body twisting, arms aligned. So it's a maybe very limited twist for you, but that's how we do this in the lunge. Return back to the center. We just warming up the spine for a little bit deeper twist that we will practice in a moment. And then return back to the center. Release your arms, and we will go to another flow where we'll incorporate those reverse triangles. With inhale, lift the arms up. Hinging from the hips, exhale, folding forward, dropping the head down. Long spine. Holding the floor for support, stepping the left foot back. And you're welcome to drop your knee down to start with. Finding your block, bringing the left hand on the block and the right hand to the side. And you're welcome to have your knee down to the floor as you twist. And you can have a hand on the thigh or bring it to your lower back. If you like to add a little bit of a strength element here. You're tucking the back toes and lifting the back knee off the floor, but you keep your shoulder above the block. Use the right hand to help you to twist more. Right hand could be on the lower back, or you're welcome to take your right arm up. So alignment in the arm should be exactly what we practiced a moment ago in a standing pose. Your hips will be facing the floor because of the leg position. So the front knee is locking the hips here, and we're rotating in the mid-back. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Don't overwork with the right shoulder. If it's not cooperating with you, just keep your right hand on the lower back. On exhale, untwist and find your downward dog. Take your time to set your downward dog. Again, knees are bent, long spine. You feel more and more space in your thoracic spine as we move. On inhale, flow into plank. Press the floor, tuck the tailbone under, and then drop the knees. Exhale, come down onto the belly. Hands on the sides of the rib cage, and lift the chest up. Inhale, long spine. Let's tuck the toes and come into downward dog. Exhale. Then we'll drop the knees down and step the left foot. So again, I would invite you to start with the back knee down on the floor to find the lunge. Having the left hand on the knee, right hand on the block. Tuck the right toes and lift the right knee off the floor. And start building here the twist, finding the depth. Sending the right shoulder forward. Left hand could be on the lower back. Left hand could be on the thigh. Or you can try to take your left arm up toward the ceiling if your shoulder works. So don't stress the shoulder. If you're finding that the left shoulder internally rotated, just keep the hand on the lower back. If you're able to roll the shoulders back and get shoulder-shoulder alignment, you can try to take your arm up. Holding here. Make sure that you're not collapsing to your right arm and not collapsing to your left foot. Find the back leg. Find the body weight comes to the back leg. Release the left hand down and step into downward dog. Exhale, head between the arms. Long spine. On inhale, flow into plank and then drop the knees. Exhale, come down. Set the hands on the sides of the rib cage, roll the shoulders back, point the toes and lift the chest up. Inhale, and then tuck the toes. Exhale into the downward dog. Let's have this downward dog for 5 breaths and try to find your own depth here. So how you pressing the floor away without creating tension on the top of the shoulders. How you can align your shoulder blades slightly away from the floor to stabilize your shoulders and engage more of your triceps help. Sending the tailbone up and back, and only then working toward pressing the heels down and working on the stretch of the hamstrings and calves. On inhale, look forward, walk to the front of the mat. Set your feet hip distance, drop the head down, and then bring the hands on the knees, come into the hip hinge. So take time to set your hip hinge here. Neutral neck, feeling your strong legs. Legs are compensating this body weight that is in the front. And then again, come into the chair pose. This time, turn the palms up toward the ceiling and just start lifting the arms. So you can stop anytime when you're finding that you just don't have the shoulder mobility. Stopping here, otherwise sliding the shoulder blades down, maintaining neutral spine. So don't extend here. That's what we love to do. Keep abdomen muscles engaged. And then from the heels, press yourself up, reach up, and bring the hands on the sides of the hips, taking the breath. Let us step into triangle pose and use the block for triangle. So heel to heel alignment, the back foot parallel to the side of the mat or slightly forward. And let us rotate the left hip forward. So it's like you want to be parallel to this right edge of the mat, but you not quite there. You're like 45-degree. Finding the hip hinge on the right leg and coming into the side bend with a straight spine. So before you bring the right hand down, check that you're not locking the front knee, so it's in a micro bend position. Rotate your left shoulder back and look above your left shoulder down, up toward the ceiling, and then continue to slide with the right hand to your shin, and then maybe find your block and bring just the tip of the fingers to the block. So you're not collapsing to the block. You're only using it as a little bit of alignment. Continue to work with the left shoulder first, and then your left hand could be on the lower back, or you might bring your left arm up. So again, alignment is the same that we practice in standing twist. Your palms are aligned, rotation happening in the mid-back, and hips are in a little bit more open position here than the previous twist. And then bring the right hand to the right knee, release your left hand to your left hip, and using the core, just lift the torso up. Going other side, turning the right foot in, left foot out. Bringing the block inside the left foot, rotating the hip in. And first we'll just start finding the side bend here. So not worried about going down. Keeping both sides of the torso equal. Think of pressing the right hip away and then slide with the left hand to the shin and maybe find the block with the tip of the fingers. Have your right hand on your lower back and work on the rotation of the torso. And if it feels right for you, take your right arm up toward the ceiling, sliding the shoulders toward the midline, and try not to collapse forward, but think that you are touching the imaginary wall behind you with your back. Pull the left hip in, press the outer edge of the right foot down to the floor. Release the right hand down and unfold here. Exhale. Let us bring the block to the center. Turn the toes out and find your squat here. So in a squat, we'd like to have the shins perpendicular to the floor. So make sure that your knees are not wider than the hips, and just go from side to side here a little bit. So in a squat position, flex your ankles and knees, and then come to the center and go down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come up, turn the toes in, heels slightly out, from the hips hinge forward, and maybe using the block. If you're reaching the block, bring your forehead on the block, and just relax your arms between your legs, palms facing their ceiling, so shoulders are relaxed into internal rotation. Work a little bit on the stretch of your hamstring, sending the seat bones up, so but not feeling that your head is unsupported here. And then let's lift the head up and bring your hands to the block. So make sure that the block is not between your feet, but block are much more in front, like creating the top of triangle here, and it's exactly on the center of your between your feet. Bring your left hand to the block, bring the right hand to the lower back, and work with external rotation of the shoulder while you're reaching forward. So you want to elongate through the spine while you're twisting. Make sure that you're not changing the body weight, not shifting to one foot, but keep it equal. Think of a little bit of the a tailbone up, a little bit of the extension there. That's going to help you to maintain neutral spine. Unfold to the center, take a breath here, and then start building the other side. Having the right hand on the block, left hand on the lower back, and sending the right shoulder forward, twist your left shoulder back, lengthen it here again. If you're finding that your lower back is rounded, bend your knees and get a little bit more extension in your lower back, reaching forward. Exhale, and then come back to the center. Go heel, toes. Bring your feet hip distance. Bend your knees. Pick up the block and come one more time into the chair pose. Holding the block in front, relax the shoulders, and try to go with your sit bones back as much as possible, and then press yourself up. Inhale and release the arms. So let us shake the legs, and we'll practice the balance stick or warrior C, sometimes warrior 3, sometimes it calls. So start bringing the body weight to, I want you to use the block for this one. Bring the body weight to the right foot, bend your left knee, and then hinge forward. And maybe bring the block to your lower back a long way, and bring the back of the palms to the block. And then open the chest. So get yourself neutral here. And now let us extend the left leg, and you might just drop the chest down a little bit. Feel that the body weight is coming above the right heel. Keep your left foot flexed. Keep shoulders going back, elbows going up, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, bend your left knee, so it's very similar to the hip hinge, and then unfold, and only then release the leg. Shake the legs, and let us build the other side. So bring the body weight to the left foot, knees together, flex foot, hinge from the hips. And use the block just to make sure that you're not rounding your lower back. Open the chest. You might be high, it's okay. And then extend the right leg and try to get your torso parallel to the floor. Flex foot. Body weight sits above the left heel. Use your back hamstring. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the right knee in and unfold and release. Shake your legs, and then we'll practice the tree pose. We're going to use the block as well. Bring the body weight to the right foot and open the left knee. I want you to bring the block to the right palm and press it up. Keep a very strong right leg, engage the right glute. So use that glute for stabilizing the pelvis, but also to engage the right oblique and the right arm, and take the left arm to the side. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Shake your legs, and let's build the other side. Bring the body weight to the left foot, stabilize your hip, open the knee out, and press the block up. So think of the left side is really strong. Take the right arm to the side, feel the lightness of the right arm. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. So let us return back to the front of the mat, where we will start one more flow. Take a moment here to ground yourself through your feet in the mountain pose. So we already in a couple of asanas worked on stabilizing the pelvis by engaging the glutes. So use it here one more time. We worked with some asanas where we externally rotate the shoulders. So keep the sense of open chest, strong arms. Neutral neck, so don't lift the chin too high, but don't be rounded forward. Think of a gaze parallel to the floor. With inhale, lift the arms up. Nothing changed in the posture here. Bring the palms together, hinge all the way down into the fold. Exhale. Let's have a pause and maybe compare the sensation of release along the spine. Then bring the hands to the shins and come into half fold. Maintain this half fold for the moment. And then again from the hips, hinge forward, exhale. Then let's step the left foot back into the lunge. And when you're ready, lift the torso up, take your arms up into the warrior one. Press the front knee forward, press the back heel back, like you want to stretch the hips. Then drop the left heel and come into warrior two. Stretching the both tip of the fingers equally. Don't lose the front knee. Be equal with your shoulders. Don't allow the right arm to pull you forward. Bring the left hand to the left thigh and take the right arm overhead. Here, holding a bit of a stretch on the front of the rib cage, but again, maintaining the 90-degree knee. Return back into the warrior two. Exhale. Bringing the right elbow inside the right knee, taking the left arm up. Think again of this alignment palm to palm when you're pressing that left palm back. Be engaged through the left hip and left leg. Outer edge of the left foot pressed firmly to the mat. Look down, release your left hand down and step into the plank. Push the floor. Drop the knees, exhale, come down. Taking the breath. Pressing the hands to the floor. Inhale, come up into the cobra. Tap your toes. Exhale, come into the downward dog. Taking the breath here, and we will flow the same sequence on the left side. So stepping the right foot to the midline of the mat, stepping the left foot forward into the lunge. When you're ready, lift the torso up and take your arms into the warrior one. Back leg really supported, front knee just for balance. Dropping the right heel and coming into the warrior two, facing the other edge of the mat. Maintaining 90-degree, maintaining grounding through the back leg. Reaching with the tip of the fingers to the both direction. Bring the right hand to the right thigh, taking the left arm overhead, opening the chest. Feel some stretch in the intercostal muscles on the left side. Returning back into the warrior two. And then bringing the left hand inside the left knee, taking the right arm up. So think of pressing the palms back. And feel yourself centered. So center is still your core. On exhale, look down, bring the right hand down to the floor and step into plank. Hold the plank. Drop the knees down to the floor. Exhale, come down. Inhale, come into the cobra. Shoulders back, very light hand assistance. And then press yourself into the child pose. Exhale. You can have your arms in front. You can have your arms on the side to let your shoulders rest a little bit. Taking away all the effort to follow the flow, all the effort to hold the body in balance. And then find yourself coming into seated position with the right leg straight and flexed, left knee bent, and get your hips facing the front foot. And then let us hinge first, and then just come into the pretty soft fold. So don't stress yourself to come down, rather think of coming forward. Start your fold from the lower back, grounding the right seat bones, and maybe having the gaze on the big toes, and then maybe ankle and think of pulling yourself forward. So be very mindful to your lower back. You don't want to have too much intensity if you're rounded, if you feel really stiff. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Continue to think of inhale forward, exhale a little bit down. Inhale forward, exhale a little bit down. Very slowly, let's release. Come up into the straight spine position. Just make sure you feel your lower back lengthening here. And we'll change. Extend your left leg, bend the right knee, and then hinging from the hip. Start with the hands flat on the floor on the both sides of your knee or calf, and then walking your fingers forward. Keep your shoulders facing the front foot. So you might be in some rotation because of your hip. Also, use the block under the knee if it feels, give you more grounding here in the legs, and work toward fold. Work with your breath with inhale, reaching forward, exhale, coming down. Inhale, reaching forward, exhale, coming down. Very slowly release the torso up, back, and then we'll come into supine position, having the block. We'll practice today supported bridge. So bend your knees, and when you're ready, start with just lifted hips on the block, neutral lower back. And make sure length in the neck still remains, so don't press the chin down. You want to maintain a neutral neck. Sometimes even we need to have support for the shoulder blades. And if you feel you want to go a little bit higher, you're welcome to lift your hips and move your block in a higher position to support your sacrum here. So make sure block is not under the lower back, not under the spine, but under the hips here. And keep squeezing your shoulder blades here, keeping the palms down to the floor. So work with the gravity. So let the body weight just be pressed to the block, and with that feel some stretch on the hip flexors. Some of you might feel you want to go even further. So to go higher, you need to make sure that you have this flexibility of your spine. You come to the tippy toes, you lift your hips, and you turn the block on the high end. And then when you have support, you bring your heels down to the floor. Your shoulder blades will be squeezed closer even more. Don't try that if you know that you have a bit of restrictions in mobility in your lower back and mid back. If you come into this high position, make sure that you're not rotating toes out and knees out. Get your feet parallel. It's going to give you more stretch on the hip flexor, and don't press your chin down to the chest. Keep this long neck. So it might feel like you are forcing the head slightly into the extension here in the neck, and your shoulder blades even might come off the floor, or you feel some of it, some of the thoracic spine comes off the floor. So in any edge of this back bend, you need to think of safety of your neck position. To go down, we will all go to the lower block position. So let the spine rest here. Let the spine rest here in the lower position. Take a couple of exhales. And then I will remove the block completely and bring the hips down. Let us go one knee at a time into the contour pose. So press the knee to your chest, round the spine, then find the other knee, comes, maybe interlace the hands and rock from side to side, massaging the lower back. And you have a long neck here. And then let us set the feet together, bringing knees out. And if you are finding the challenge to hold your feet, hold your ankles, or even hold your knees, and just separate the knees a little bit, feeling some inner thigh stretch. After you found where you're holding your knees, let us pay attention what's happening in the lower back. So think of a neutral position. So it's like you're taking your tailbone down, right? So when we're trying to hold the feet, the tailbone comes off the floor. So I want you to find the position where you feel like you're spreading all this area of the lower back. And at the same time, make sure you're not shrugging your shoulders. Get your shoulders down as well. So after you found this spinal position in neutral way on the mat, let us separate the feet into the happy baby. And you're welcome to hold your ankles. You don't have to reach to your feet. You can hold your ankles, keeping elbows inside the knees, and slightly pressing the knees down to the floor to feel a little bit more of a compression of the hip flexors and a stretch in the inner thigh. But what is most important is to maintain this flat lower back, neutral neck. And then let's release the legs up and cross the right leg in front of the left, and then try to reach to your ankles and bend your knees into the supine shoelace position. And because of a different mobility of ankle and knees, you might be a little bit awkward, asymmetrical here. Try to find the best symmetry available for you. Shoulders and ankles. You feel a lot of a stretch around the right hip. And here you're welcome to close your eyes and work on exhale. Let's release the feet and maybe bring both feet down to the floor. And reset your pelvis. So try to find your pelvis in symmetrical position here. Then take your legs up and cross the left in front of the right. It might be even more challenging to reach to your ankles. So do your best. If you're not able to reach to your ankles, just hold your arms on the center and pressing the knees on the center. So don't worry about your ankles. Let them be wide where it feels right, and hold your knees here. Make sure that you're not lifting one shoulder higher than the other or create any asymmetry in your spine. So it's not the goal here to hold the ankles. The goal here is to create internal rotation of the hips in a flexed position and create a little bit different angle for the stretch around the left hip. And then let's release the legs again. Place them on the floor, feet flexed. Take your arms wide. And let us separate the feet to the edges of the mat. So knees are wide, and then drop the knees to the left. So it's a very, very relaxed twist. You can turn the head to the right arm, grounding both shoulders, reset your shoulder blades. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed here. Very soft twist. We're calming the nervous system from quite intense practice today. We had a lot of flows, a lot of some strengthening and core and leg strengthening poses. So here we're returning toward grounding our body, grounding our mind. And then let us lift the knees up. If you find that you are asymmetrical, reset your shoulders, back of the head, hips. And then from the center, drop the knees to the right, turn the head to the left. Returning back to the center, feet, back of the head, hips. Let us extend the legs, take the arms overhead and create a full body stretch, sides, front, back. Take a deep inhale and then exhale. Relax everything and find your comfortable position for Shavasana. Maybe taking the heels to the corners of the mat, letting the feet fall apart. Turning palms up toward the ceiling. And take a deep exhale to relax and bring your body into Shavasana, into relaxation. As we will be practicing Shavasana, I would like you, without forcing your exhale, think again of rooting the parts of the body that are touching the floor, like heels, cuffs, pelvis, shoulder blades, back of the head, elbows, palms. And visualize yourself rooting toward the ground, toward the place you are practicing today, the place where you live, and feel grateful for being able to be here and now. Gentle moves will return when you're ready. Feeling your body moving again. Start with our gentle moves. Maybe hug yourself with the right arm on the top. Then release and hug yourself with the left arm on the top. Rock the upper body from side to side. Then bend the knees. Bring them to your chest. Rock with the knees from side to side. rocking and massaging the lower back. And then find your way to come to one side, and with the help of the arm, bring yourself into seated position. Cross your ankles, get length in the spine, and bring the hands in front of the heart. Take a moment to admit the end of the practice and thank yourself for being able to be on the mat this morning. And hopefully this energizing flow will give you a positive vibe to continue through your day. Namaste.